From a young age, we are trained to accept people exactly as they present themselves. We look at a warm smile, an earnest apology, or a bold declaration, and we take it as the truth of who that person is. What we see is a survival suit, a series of pre-programmed responses designed to deflect scrutiny. Every personality we meet is a carefully assembled set of defensive armor. That colleague who goes out of their way to be accommodating may be managing a deep fear of rejection, and the loudest, most dominant person in the room is often quietly crumbling under the weight of their own insecurity. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche observed this dynamic over a century ago. He argued that everyone wears a mask to survive the psychological pressures of society. Most people are walking through life reciting lines from a play they didn't even write. They have worn their disguises for so long that they hide their true nature even from their own awareness. To understand human behavior, we have to stop listening to the rehearsed script and start paying attention to the moments the mask slips. This social camouflage persists because of a very specific underlying pressure, the constant, quiet anxiety of being cast out by the group. Long before you realized it, your environment was shaping you. Schools, family dynamics, and peer groups trained you to suppress your sharper edges. You learned to shrink, stay silent, and mold your personality into something agreeable to ensure you were tolerated. The driving force here is a deep-seated dread of abandonment or losing the support of the people you rely on most. Over time, safety becomes the priority. We develop an addiction to passive inclusion, a willingness to mute our genuine instincts as long as it guarantees a seat at the table. The mask is the price we pay for belonging. We trade away our individuality because the danger of standing alone feels too great to risk. You can spot these defenses working in real time. Take the chronic critic, the person who constantly points out the flaws, vanity, or dishonesty in everyone else. This is projection. They are at war with their own reflection, aggressively calling out the exact traits they are terrified to face within themselves. Exaggerated certainty works in a similar way. When someone loudly broadcasts their virtue or constantly insists they don't care what anyone thinks, that volume is a tell. It is the ego frantically trying to drown out a deep, persistent insecurity. Look at the external shell and the internal core. As external control grows rigid, the inner self becomes fragmented. The micromanaging boss frantically manages the outside world because their internal world feels dangerously chaotic. These aggressive everyday behaviors are frantic, exhausting attempts to hold up a very fragile psychological shield. To decode these behaviors completely, you have to look beneath the adult surface. People do not act out their logical beliefs. They act out their childhoods. The friend who over-explains every minor mistake is likely repeating a dynamic where they were punished for tiny infractions. The person who ghosts the moment a relationship gets intimate is falling back on a distancing maneuver that kept them safe years ago. In this way, every compulsive habit functions as a biography. It tells the story of past wounds, unmet needs, and the specific environments a person had to navigate to survive. Behind the most rigid, defensive adult persona is often a scared child, still waiting for the signal that it's safe to exist. Maintaining this performance across decades carries a severe psychological toll. Constantly filtering your truth to keep the surface smooth is quietly exhausting. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung identified this hidden cost. He categorized all the repressed and rejected parts of our identity as the shadow. The longer you exile these parts of yourself, the more power they gather. Eventually, that suppressed energy forces its way out, manifesting as chronic anxiety, fatigue, or sudden burnout. Compulsive bad habits take root in this exact tension. Scrolling on your phone for hours, overworking, or reaching for a drink are cries from your genuine self, seeking a temporary escape from the labor of playing a character. The psychological armor we constructed to protect ourselves from the judgment of the world eventually becomes the prison that drains our life force. Analyzing these layers provides a pathway toward grace. When you can look past the noise and see the terrified kid behind the arrogant executive, or the deep fear of rejection driving a people pleaser, you stop reacting with anger. You start to understand. But the hardest work is turning that lens inward. It requires identifying the roles you've been playing, integrating your own shadow, and facing the fear of standing alone. True resilience involves the raw courage to drop the performance and finally be seen for who you actually are.